So I'm not about to sit here and act like I didn't just record this video, went to the computer to try to edit it, and then heard a bunch of click, 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 click in my footage or in my sound, and it Yo man, welcome to the channel if you're new here, and welcome back if you're not. It's Shot by Curt. So without any delay, we talking about my initial impressions using the Canon R6. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the full frame 4K, 24 frames per second and 60 frames per second. Considering that I was using the EOS R, if you're familiar with the channel, I've been using the EOS R like the last, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 months or something like that. And the 4K 1.8 times crop, it's unusable. So I pretty much shot everything in 1080, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who has or will continue to shoot everything in 1080. So having full frame 4K is great. It's a small, super small crop that you won't even notice. So I'm just gonna call it full frame 4K. So the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that they kind of brought the mic jack forward or moved it up some more, or they did a little bit of both. But when you're trying to flip your screen around with the mic, with a mic jack in it, then they don't hit each other. You can kind of flip the screen as fast, or whatever way you need to, without doing kind of like weird ninja maneuvers around it. So I thought that was pretty dope too, something real small. So then the third thing is just pretty much the touch bar is gone. They've added a joystick. I've never owned a Canon camera, or any camera for that matter, with a joystick. I started shooting on a T6i, then the 80D, neither one of those had joysticks. When I moved to Sony, the A7 III didn't have a joystick, the 6400 didn't have a joystick. So when I came to the EOS R, it has the touch bar, and I used it sometimes. It was very rare, but I used it sometimes. And then now having this R6, it has a joystick, and I can see the benefits of it, but I don't use it much right now either. But I'm glad that they added the joystick, because I'll use the joystick way more than I would have ever used that touch bar. Now, for the things that I don't like, it's literally only two things. At least right now, it's only two things. One of them, I'm pretty sure you already know, and it's the overheating issue. The last video I did was pretty much on me using this camera and it overheating, but I had not upgraded the firmware. So now I updated the firmware today. I was supposed to do a vlog, or I went to go do a vlog, and I didn't really like how things were turning out footage wise, but I did get a good sense of like the temperature and how to kind of reset the timer and things like that. So the footage that you're seeing is pretty much from a vlog that you'll never see. So initially when I started shooting this morning, I was doing everything in spurts, 5 seconds here, 15 seconds here, just getting b-roll. And then I did like a couple talking head points, and they were like a couple minutes long. So I'm just shooting, and the timer went from the 30 minutes to the 25 to the 20, 15, 10. I got it down to 10. Now a thing to note here is I never cut the camera off in between any of those takes. Like, I didn't shoot, cut off, shoot, cut off. Like, I just I shot and put the camera down, and that was pretty much it. So that's how it ended up going down to the 10-minute mark. Now what I did do was, I remember some people saying like just cut the camera off, so I went to test that out as well. So now I'm at the 10-minute mark, I'm still shooting my shots or whatever, but what I would do is I cut it off, and there was a stretch where it was probably off like 15 minutes. When I cut the camera back on, I pretty much had 25 minutes on the timer versus the 10 minutes that I was just seeing, prior. So I guess the tip here would be, if you're in between shots and it's anything over 5 minutes, then you should probably just cut the camera off. Anything, I pretty much say, and don't take this with a grain of salt, this is just my findings, but anything over 5 minutes, you should probably just cut the camera off. And just get that time back, and just keep the timer like resetting itself, so to speak. But I didn't get any overheating issues. I didn't get the overheat warning. I didn't get any of that. Majority of the time afterwards, I was pretty much shooting back to back to back, and the lowest I ended up getting it down to was 15 minutes, and then by that time I was pretty much already done. So I had no overheating issues since updating to the 1.2 firmware. But that second thing that I just don't really care for is the fact that there's no custom video settings on the mode dial. On the EOS R, that was one thing that I liked about it. Like, it had the screen and, you know, that was cool, but the mode button, like how to switch between photo and video, people didn't really like it. I kind of didn't really like it either, but I got used to it. And in my findings, I would set, on the video side, I would set my C1, 2, and 3 to 1080 24, 1080 60, 4K 24. And the best thing to me about that was my shutter was already set on each one of those modes, so I didn't have to go to the quick menu and then switch to 4K 60 and then switch to 125 shutter. But like, doing all that fiddling, I'm missing something. Like, or I have the potential to miss something. Luckily it hasn't happened, but it's the potential to miss something, just kind of like that extra minute of, or not minute, but the extra couple seconds of trying to, let me make sure my shutter is this, or, you know, moving too fast if you running and gunning. If it's in a set situation, then I guess it's whatever. But running and gunning, a lot of us do that, and, you know, time is of the essence. So, you know, on the EOS R, it was way better. On the R5, if you own an R5, then you pretty much have that feature, and this is not anything for you to worry about. But if you own an R6, as of right now, you cannot set custom video settings on the mode dial. It's only for photo. So that's gonna do it for today's video, man. Hopefully Canon continues to roll out these firmware updates with bigger and better features to kind of help the camera be more of the powerhouse that they were expecting it to be. But as you know, I continue to use the camera, you know, figure out more things that I like, more things that I don't like. You know, I end up making another video, like maybe a review of just like my time with the camera and just really how I feel about it. But at the end of the day, man, all these cameras do the same thing. If you like the video, definitely drop it a like. Consider hitting that subscribe button with the bell notifications. Y'all stay creative, and I'll catch you in the next video.